Got some breaking news just now for you. Just dropped new news poll numbers. For the first time in the Albanese term of government, the coalition is now ahead on a two-party preferred basis, 51-49. So big news poll news out just now, just breaking news. Now, I want to talk to and bring in my next guest, Jacinta Nampijinpa Price. You know her very, very well because tomorrow marks 1 year since Australians overwhelmingly, just about 60-40, voted no at the national referendum on the Indigenous voice to Parliament. And since then, though, there seems to have been little progress made on Indigenous issues, with Labor still struggling with a whole raft of political challenges over the last 12 months. Jacinta Nampijinpa Price joins me now. Thank you so much for coming on this historic evening. Senator, looking back 1 year after this result, just take us back to how you felt a year ago when those numbers started to fall, and they started to fall your way.
Look, James, it was incredible. We always felt that we wanted to get a majority of states over the line, but when the results came in so quickly, so definitely Australians knew exactly what they wanted for our country, and that was for an Australia that wasn't divided along the lines of race. I was incredibly proud of being able to work alongside, Warren Mundine, and of course, my leaders, Peter Dutton, Dave Littleproud, and the way that we were able to galvanise the Australian people and reignite the Australian spirit, and understanding that Australians want a better way forward for us all, particularly so with that result.
And what do you make of, because over the last 24, 48 hours, there's been a whole big to-do now about why the voice failed. And I mean, we spoke many, many times about the weaknesses in the case, about how it was unclear, how what it was calling for wasn't clear. We've got the fight now between Megan Davis saying that it was misinformation. People didn't have the truth, and other people like Greg Barnes and Arthur Moses saying, no, they had the right information. We were giving out misinformation. What's your view of how the Yes camp still hasn't come to terms with this victory, it seems?
Well, look, they need to accept the result and move forward. A lot of the grievance industry, all they want to do is look back. The rest of Australia wants to look forward. Those marginalised Indigenous Australians want results and want action and want that now. So enough with the talk, enough with the carry on. Let's start doing things in a practical way to ensure that little kids, those who are experiencing the highest rates of sexual abuse in this country, are no longer experiencing that they aren't living in a household where there's dysfunction and violence. That's who I care about. And that's who we as a coalition will be looking to improve their lives should we win government at the next federal election. No more looking in the past. It's time to move on. It's time to move forward.
Yeah, I mean, look, that's absolutely correct. And I think a lot of Australians share your view on that. But, I mean, does it feel like this government wasted a year plus of Aboriginal Australians, Indigenous Australians' lives here fighting over this referendum when they could have been taking concrete action? And as you point out, they refuse still to do an audit of land councils and figure out ways to more efficiently and better and more properly invest in these communities.
That's exactly right. They're only ever interested in symbolism. They put all their eggs in one basket when it came to the referendum, when it came to the voice. They don't know how to take action in practical ways going forward. And we've seen that with their failures. They've governed over the Northern Australia Aboriginal Justice Association, which has had 6 CEOs in the last 18 months, left vulnerable Indigenous people dealing with court cases on their own in the Northern Territory. They've continued to ensure that schools like the Yipparinja School miss out on their much-needed funds to build a boarding school for our most marginalised kids in our community. They've ignored the voices of traditional owners calling for an inquiry because of their concerns with the governance of these organisations that are supposed to improve their lives. But what have they done? They appointed a First Nations ambassador. And what does he do with the incredible amount of taxpayer funds flying around the world? He hasn't moved the dial once for marginalised kids in our communities.
Correct, but it's a shocking situation, but also a shocking news poll that's just dropped very quickly, just in a few seconds' time. Jacinta Nampijinpa Price, your reaction to the 51-49 news poll showing things going your way?
Oh, look, Peter Dutton and David Littleproud and the coalition team, we're coming. We're coming. We want to fix Australia for Australians, and Australians know this. And we're not going to stop fighting until we know that we're in a position where we can make it better.
Jacinta Nampijinpa Price, we're going to have to leave it there. Thank you so much for making the time to join us tonight.